Hey everyone and welcome to Bwoah Racing League Season 4, race number 3, the Vietnamese GP at the Hanoi Street Circuit. And getting straight to the racetrack itself, you're going to miss out on a bunch of drivers because they're not too pleased with the circuit. 3 DRS zones, 23 turns, 5.6 kilometers, and the highlight, of course, the 2 straights from corner 5 to corner 6 and corner 8 to corner 10. We can't wait, and the champ of street circuits himself, KDB, will be on track. I'm Sarthak Ayappa as always, and alongside me, Ruds. What is up, my guy?
Hello. That was a really classy intro, I must say. Shook things up quite a bit.
Yeah. Bring in a couple of things for the viewers. Yep, indeed. And we'll be interrupted or maybe even well informed by Rusty Nish in the gaps throughout this stream. So if you're a friend of Rusty Nish, you won't see him on track, but you will see him come into the VC and drop some knowledge bombs per se. Maybe. Regardless, KDB will be the highlight for this race, at least from my point of view. What do you think, Ruds? He has won the 2 races that he has won, has been on street circuits.
I am very, very optimistic about KDB's chances today. And let's not forget that those race wins were in lesser machinery than, the top ones in the league. And this time, since it's equal performance and he's in a racing point, so maybe the placebo effect kicks in and he gets the nice bit of luck. And I think he might go all the way, unless Chris Bhai has other plans.
Perhaps the fact that he's on track and Avi as well clearly doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't make quite a difference that General Pepe is missing. But then again, it does leave room for possibilities, doesn't it?
True. And we will also be seeing 2 reserve drivers, so at least we can expect some sort of variety in terms of the battles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Gambler coming out on track for the Red Bull team, SV sitting out. I think that'll be the driver to look out for in terms of reserves. We've seen him do pretty well in race 0R. It'll be interesting to see how he'll do alongside these boys.
Yep. And I don't know about you, but for me, Hanoi is kind of a scary track. I don't know if others feel that it's scary, but I certainly feel it's scary. It looks like, okay, it's a street circuit. Definitely it's going to feel, kind of narrow, but it feels claustrophobic at times. And I'm genuinely scared of having more than 5 DNFs today. Do you think we'll see a lot of DNFs?
Yeah, let's hope not, is all that I can say, because it won't be great for the viewers of Ruz. And going to the track itself, I think a lot of speedy sections, to say the least. And like I mentioned earlier on, the straights, I'm looking forward for which drivers will pull off some great moves on those straights. Big Man Joe, perhaps. And speaking about Big Man Joe, that team, maybe we can see them do better this time around. Big Man Joe and Rocket Man.
Yep, I guess it's only been 2 races, to be honest, but Big Man Joe has yet to score any points, and the current championship leader is on a hiatus, at least for this weekend. Yeah. So every other competitor has a significant advantage to minimize the gap. But then again, who will minimize the most? My bets are on KDB and Avi for some reason, but I do think that these 2 will be the ones to watch out for.
Yeah, this season at least, they're the 2 drivers who've been on the podium apart from Chris Bhai and General Pepe. So perhaps we might see a new podium finisher. I mean, that we'll find out eventually, of course. But that's a good place to start off with predictions for the race roads. Last time around, I said new podium finisher, and we did have Avi on the podium. What do you reckon this time around your prediction will be?
This one is a little tough to call, but I feel that the people who have already finished on the podiums will yet again finish on the podium.
Oh.
But yeah, and I do feel that there will be a very close fight for P3, maybe something leading to a photo finish perhaps.
Oh, okay. We did have a bit of a similar situation, but not for a podium position, but a bit far back between UK and another driver in the first race in Australia.
Yep, I think only half of front wing separated these two.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm looking at chat right about now. 8 of you all watching. Make sure you drop in the chat who you're here for, which driver you here to support. And we got SV in the chat as well. I'm pretty sure he'll be rooting for his drivers, Accelerate and Gambler.
For sure. I guess this track will favor the people who are good at tire management, because the best tire strategy to go for in this case would be a two-stopper with a soft, medium, soft. But you can pull a medium hard or a soft to hard if you're feeling brave, you know. But again, it depends on qualifying, as who qualifies on what tires. But I do feel that most teams will go for a two-stopper.
Yeah, I mean, then again, the strategies we say that are optimum are usually the ones these dudes try to move away from. We've seen the bold strategy Avi used to score a podium last race around. Maybe he'll pull out something here too, like you predicted.
Yeah, and that's the surprising part, you know. He pulled a strategy so risky at the worst track you very wet. Because this can go two ways right now, Sarthak.
Yeah, 1 second, Rudra. It seems like we just might have disconnected from the stream, and we should be back right about now. Yep, all set and ready to go. Short qualifying, 18 minutes of short qualifying. And what were you saying, Ruds? Sorry to cut you off earlier on.
No worries. I was just wondering on what would we see in terms of the weather. So the quali can either be wet to dry, or it can go from wet to very wet. So, you know, the quali can go.
I'd say it seems like it's gonna go from wet to very wet. I know the drivers won't be too glad about this. And something I forgot to mention earlier on is the fact that this track usually, if you hit the Grand Prix mode in this game, sometimes you actually do get, wet races, and I think it should be one to enjoy for the viewers. At least I know the drivers are never happy with the rain out.
Especially if it's a street circuit, because the last thing you want on a street circuit is rain. Unless you're Accelerate, of course.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's got a grin on his face. His big man Joe comes out of the pits. Just over 16 minutes left into short qualifying. We'll have a bit of data for the team principals sitting in the voice channels to communicate to their drivers.
I'm curious to see if it actually does go to very wet, like you said, Sarthak, because if that's the case, then whoever is currently out on track will be setting the fastest times for the entire session, not just now. So that is a really, really curious thing for me. So yeah, I think we'll know within the next 2 minutes.
Eventually, everyone's out on intermediates, of course. Also, to mention, VPA, who was out on the Alfa Romeo last race around, is now out in the Alpha Tauri. A change of Alphas.
I think he fits right in for now.
Yeah. Intermediate.
Speaking of the first, speaking of the first result driver, we also have the other result driver, only Kapi, this time in the Haas.
Okay.
So, if we are to go by the real life F1 table, only Kapi has driven for the bottom two teams, but they are anything but the bottom two when it comes to BRL. Funniest thing I could think of.
Yeah. Albi Ferrello starts his hot lap as we continue to talk about only Kapi, who's alongside Baby Shumi, who hasn't had much of practice on this track from what I've heard.
Any amount of practice on this track is less, because it's not just about the speed, because you have such a huge straight that it's easy to stay straight and just go for it. But you look at the turns, you have two hairpins, almost 3. I wouldn't call it a hairpin, but you have those extreme turns and you do have a very squiggly track, especially sector 3, if you notice, Sarthak. So it's so easy to scrape your wing on any of those walls.
Precisely.
And doing that on a street circuit is doom. You're basically done.
Yeah. Well said, to say the least, because you mentioned the twirly part or swiggly part, you can call it what you may. They're really quick parts of the track. It's not like they're braking too much, these drivers, on those on sector 3, if I'm not wrong, that is. Yeah, so, and the final corner, 90-degree turn, shouldn't quite matter, but then again, you never know. This the wheel-to-wheel battles might continue. There's a Williams standing on the main straight, and I wonder who that is.
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah,
that caught me by surprise.
Yep. UK first one to say a lap time.
That was Harry Rocks.
UK's lap time quickly beaten by Horning. 1 minute 50.702. 13 minutes left, and I wonder what more we could see, how quicker the lap times might get from this point on.
I think Baby Shumi is struggling quite a bit in the rain because his lap time was 9 seconds slower than Horning.
He hasn't been in his element, at least on the latter half of stints during the race. He did a spectacular show by him in the first half of Australia, where he defended with C56 mighty well. Goes to show that he can actually bring home quite a bit of points for the team, especially when you're alongside someone like General Pepe. You'll want to be in a position like that.
Definitely, and we did discuss about this, I think, in Australia as well as Bahrain, that the potential is there. What he needs is the exposure, because this is not just his first season in BRL, it's his first season in any sort of sim racing league. So you definitely need to step up your game, you know? Which he will, of course, as time progresses.
And without surprise, 1 minute 50.392 by KDB. Horning right behind him, accelerate right up there. So going into the last couple of minutes of short qualifying, you can expect a half a battle for pole.
Which team do you think, Sarthak, would gain the maximum points today? Because that is something that's been on my mind ever since we started the qualifying.
I think Racing Point, which is Sicknig and KDB, they can position themselves pretty well. Alongside even Avi and Mr. Wex, because Avi just went fastest so far, and Mr. Wex wasn't supposed to show up today.
Spun out as well, Sarthak. Hairpin.
Seems like we've caught him
as you were
passing
saying,
the Ferrari. Yes. I was saying Mr. Wex, he wasn't supposed to show up. He was very doubtful about showing up today, and he did. So the two Renaults and the two Racing Points are my bet. Considering the other teams such as Ferrello and VPA, Rusty Nish last time around alongside Ferrello had a brilliant finish in Bahrain, got a good haul of points for the team. So yeah, my bet's on Renault and Racing Point. What about you?
Was gonna say Mercedes, but then I saw Freeze struggling in the rain, and now I'm not so sure. So I might go with Actually, I might go with McLaren on this one. I don't know why, but my gut feeling says that McLaren will have the most points haul.
I was just about to say that they're probably gonna prove me wrong, because I just saw Seto RC18 go third fastest, and UK is right up there, setting time after time quicker and quicker. So yeah, you might just be right, Rods.
Let's see, we have our top 3 picks. How about the chat? I'm sure they will know which team is gonna come out on top.
Yeah, but right now, as it seems, Rusty Nish and SV11 are the ones in chat, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be rooting for their own teams.
Indeed, but then again, it's not just about one driver, and unless and until we have a dry race, you can never really predict anything.
Seto RC18, let's accelerate by. I'll be curious to see how Seto RC performs, loses a bit of his rear going through sector 2. UK and Setu RC18. Could we possibly see a 1-2 finish here today, Rids? Or is that a long shot by a team?
Vietnam? No. I don't know. I do feel that the drivers have a certain resentment towards Vietnam.
It is.
And that's just not in the game, to be honest. Even in real world, even though F1 has not raced there yet, seems to be a sort of negativity around Vietnam of sort. I don't know. And I think we might not even see a Vietnam race to begin with.
Yep.
Lots of controversies happening there.
Yeah, at least not in the near future as it had been planned. So yeah, I guess all of us with this game ended up being the lucky ones to be on this track even before the real F1 drivers. How about that? Yeah.
True.
Chris,
Sarthak, we were talking about somebody grinning. You can go ahead, Sarthak, because I can wait.
No, I was gonna bring up a bunch of things, then I just noticed KDB coming out on the softs, so even I've been caught off guard right now.
Oh, that's quite daring to say the least. But the rain seems to have stopped. I don't know if the track is dry enough for slicks yet, but we'll see.
Let's
I was going to say that the rain has favored the Rain Man as accelerator speed 3 currently.
Yeah. Chris Bai and Avi ahead, and he's almost a second off of Avi. Lots to make up there, but let's see what kind of a lap KDB can put on the softs. He's going to take his time for sure.
He outbraked the corner. He couldn't even turn, so I do feel that there still is not enough grip. He might need 2 warm-up laps.
Perhaps, and looks like the game is favoring UK a lot. It's just his time popping up in the bottom part of our screens.
I actually had that glitch too, but it's gone now. So you can just hide your UI. Do it again and again until everything is hidden, and then when you bring it back up, it'll be gone.
Got it.
Codes are the best. I mean, you gotta love them, but sometimes it's like, please take a stand.
And let's talk about the driver we always talk about. We haven't missed a single race. We haven't gone a single race without talking about him, and he's out on the mediums, as peculiar as it might be. I think he's gonna come out right about now. Yes, he does. Gouts. What do you reckon?
What are your feelings about Gods, Sarthak?
I've been really critical about his race start strategy. It's the only thing that pops into my mind, and I'll keep going at it again and again. I think if he just did take a bit more risk, he'd actually end up higher up the pack more often. But then again, to each their own. And right now he's sitting in P14. Let's hope he gets a points finish. I'm pretty sure that team would want it. I'm pretty sure Rick Sanchez, who's the team principal, will want it as well. And Wix356 shifting from the controller to the wheel, perhaps being slower at least for the couple races coming up. Gouts has to step up for his team.
He'll be setting the fastest first sector, Sarthak. So I think that we finally have a dry track. So wet to dry was the qualification system.
And UK just set an almost 1:49 dead time on the intermediates. And we've got quite a bit of drivers out on softs and 2 drivers out on mediums.
Yeah, I think KDB is gonna beat that in maybe a minute.
5 minutes left to show qualifying. 10 of you all watching, drop in the chat. Who do you think will come out on top and who are you rooting for?
I have just noticed, Sarthak, that Gots and Baby Shumi are both trying to set times on the mediums. So they might be going for the mediums to hard strategy, I guess.
Weird enough. I saw a Ferrari parked on track. I'm pretty sure he just let KDB by.
That give way because KDB, yes, exactly. He's flying. KDB is simply flying.
For some reason, the audio cue on that engine note is rather disturbing on stream, but across the line, I wonder what kind of time he puts in. Yep, 3 seconds quicker than UK. No surprise there.
And that is 4.671 faster than his own time. So it really do be dry though.
Yeah. UK surprisingly still out on the intermediates.
I guess he might be planning for an alternate strategy where if he qualifies on the inters and it turns out to be dry, he gets a free choice of tires, you know? Oh, that would be a big brain move. That would be like 1,000 IQ move in my opinion.
Perhaps, but how much of, opportunity is he going to miss out into the race? We've seen him climb from P19, if I'm not wrong, all the way up into points in Australia. Can he pull off something like that in Vietnam? I think a bit of someone's front wing accelerator went into on the main straight. But regardless, back to you, Ruds, on UK strat and perhaps everybody else's strat.
And if you look at it, UK is still second on the inters, whereas everybody else is still getting the grips on the softs. So I think he might wait out until the end and go for one last, shot.
Okay.
Softs. Everybody's starting to improve now. So yeah, I think he will have to quit soon. This should be his end lap.
Yeah, purple sector in sector 1 for accelerate. As he goes through sector 2, accelerate, however, hasn't really, I don't want to say popped off, but we haven't seen the full potential of accelerate like we saw last season around. I think he's going to be, he's going to take time, I'm guessing. I don't know what might be the issue per se, but then again, I'm pretty sure he's pushing as hard as possible. And just for a while, let's enjoy this, because I'm pretty sure Gauts will be enjoying it. He's the fastest out on track with 1 minute 44.801 on medium tires.
Wow, that is really strong indeed, and he's gonna savor this moment for quite some time.
That lived very short.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, only copy better that time.
My mind, Sarthak.
Yeah.
You read my mind regarding accelerate, because I was actually going to point out the same thing. I don't think accelerate has failed by his standards, but it's more like he's been pretty under the radar of sorts to his potential and what he's shown on track so far. I think it has to do with the completely shuffled up grid, and maybe it's the Red Bull curse happening in VRL as well, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, and now accelerate.
Perhaps, but
I hope not.
Yeah, but right now he's on provisional pole, and in the chat I see Gauts had a friend come by, Alvin. So maybe Alvin was the lucky charm here to perhaps put Gauts on provisional pole for just a while. But with just 1 minute to go, this is interesting, Ruds, because we got Accelerate on pole, we got Sicknick right behind him, and Only Copy right up there. Can the others set times which are better than their previous ones? And when I say others, I mean KDB, I mean Mr. Wex, I see Big Man Joe still in P18, I see Chris Bai down in P12. What do you reckon?
I feel that anybody who crosses the line before the 0 second mark hits has a good chance of doing something. Big Man Joe will be starting his final lap. He's on the out lap. He's trying for an out lap now, I guess. I'm not sure. He is going for a lap time, but he will have one more lap to do something. Would he go for it? I hope so.
He goes second fastest so
Big Man Joe going P2.
Not for long.
Fastest third sector.
Yep, the times are rolling in. The times are rolling in with just under 15 seconds to go for short qualifying. Chris Bai currently on provisional pole. Big Man Joe has started another fast lap. And Chris Bai going off track.
UK has retired, Karthik, as well as Only Kapi. So I think these guys are pretty much done for the session.
Setu RC18 gives himself a good qualifying run, P4. He will be starting P4 unless one of the drivers out there trying to set a lap time pulls off something.
I hate to say this, Sarthak, but UK is P16 when qualifying ends. I really hope that it was a connection issue or something, because I really don't know what happened.
And AlphaTauri almost impeded Big Man Joe's time there. 138.688 is the time to beat for Big Man Joe. But can he is the question. He's currently starting P5. Can we mention that Rocket Man will be starting P7? So clearly, we just might have pressed him wrong during the bidding session of this league, Ruds. I think it's coming. It's coming out now.
I just saw Big Man just set the second sector as the fastest sector. So you know what? I would not put a pole out of his hands. So let's see. He's right around there.
And stay on him across the final line. Yep, it's provisional pole. Yep, but Avi crosses the line to take a pole position, and Mr. Wex starts P2. It's a front row lockout for the first time in the Bwoah Racing League, and it's the Renault team, Avi and Mr. Wex. But not for long. KDB had to come in and pull off something there. 1 minute 36.239. It is KDB, the master of the streets, pole position, and that excitement in my voice just was for a short while. Avi and Mr. Wex almost nailed it. They come close, just like Sicknig and SV last season around. But KDB right there to snatch pole position at the Vietnamese GP of the Bwoah Racing League. What a qualifying session looks that like was, Rids.
Your prediction looks like your prediction for Renault might just come true, you know, of having the most points haul today.
Yeah. KDB is going to rewatch the stream and have a smile on his face, because he wiped the smile off my face real quick. I almost thought we got a front row lockout.
Well, and regarding UK's scenario, I just received info that UK missed his pit entry sadly, and that didn't allow him to set another lap on the softs. So the time he had was his inters time.
This has happened before for UK as well, so I'm pretty sure he's not pleased at all. He's starting P20 as well. But then again, you look at this qualifying session and such good qualifying result for some of these drivers. We see Setu RC18 starting P7. We see Rocket Man, who was supposed to start P7 until a bunch of these drivers beat his time. So he'll be starting P11. Not too far off Big Man Joe. So we might just see Alfa Romeo pulling off something brilliant at Vietnam.
I think the break that they got last week was a much needed break, as we can see the results now. And this is just the third round, so we've got a long way to go.
Yep. Avi and Mr. Wex starting P2 and P3. Now that, going into turn 1, I'll be curious to see what kind of jumps they could get. KDB on pole position, Big Man Joe back in the top 5. The Vietnamese GP.
It feels something to see two teams in the top 10 in very competitive positions.
Amazing. Ergouts seems to have had an issue of sorts, but the formation lap will begin. And for the first time this season at least, we'll be able to capture the whole of the formation lap. 8 of you all watching, make sure you drop in the chat who do you think will come out on top, out of turn 1 at least, if not the race. 28 lap race, 50% race distance. So looking forward to it just as much as the folks watching.
For the session to start, Sarthak, I don't know if you've realized this, but to me, the Vietnam track, the Hanoi Street Circuit map, looks a lot like the symbol of Mercedes, don't you think?
I noticed that one now, Ruds. Well,
and now you can't unsee it.
Yeah, but not from corner number 11. Corner number 9 to 11. That the bottom part of the Mercedes logo. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, got a real tricky one there, didn't you?
It's like a bad Mercedes logo.
Yep, the formation lap, KDB on pole position.
What? VPA and Freeze have been disqualified. Harry has... I don't know what's happening.
Chaos in the formation lap, perhaps.
Why is everybody getting disqualified? Are we seeing a bug or something?
Perhaps. Then again...
Okay, this is very weird. I hope we don't have to restart. and this is just a DSQ from the formation lap.
Yeah. Could possibly be just a DSQ from the formation lap, and they'll be back on the grid for race start. UK on the soft tires starting P20, and we see everybody from P11 all the way to P19 on mediums, apart from Freeze, who will be on the soft tires. And the Ferrari drivers, Gauts and Vix 356, lining up P18 and P19 at the back of the pack. 28 laps of racing at
Having
the Hanoi
the
Street
best
circuit.
of season starts.
KDB on pole position, and his teammate starts P13. So if the race does go well, RP might just pull off a good points haul at this race. They'll need it, I'm sure.
We did get the pit strategy. Lap 9 is when we should start seeing the soft runners start pitting, between lap 9 and 11. So until then, it's going to be steady racing.
Yep. But considering how the degradation goes on this track, we might see a couple of individuals who are bold enough to push it to lap 12. And cars are going, and I see cars lining up. Yep, the drivers who have been disqualified are on track, so it was just a formation lap DSQ, like you mentioned, Ruds. Let's stay on board.
Gods, our friendly God, has game and he can't take control. So he's desperately trying to get back in the game.
And seems like there's a glitch already, because it's showing that Gauts is on pole position for us, but lights out and we shoot down the main straight. The drivers shoot across, and you gotta help me with the standings, Ruds, because the game's going crazy as always. And it's disaster on going into turn 1. There's a Renault off track, but the Racing Point of Sicknick's off track as well. Renault. KDB's still leading the race, and Big Man Joe, surprisingly not, right behind him. And it's chaos behind as the AlphaTauri spins, the Williams spins, and there's a crash in Sector 1 and virtual safety car comes out.
I think that's the Williams of Chris Bhai. Oh, that was a terrible start for him, and he is now in last place. UK, believe it or not, Sarthak, is in P12. What a start from him.
Incredibly unfortunate for Chris Bhai, but UK will be smiling away at glory, but he's racked up a penalty in the process.
Maybe, not much. Yes, exactly. He has a 5-second penalty, along with only Kapi. So I think this will be a drive-through penalty, Sarthak.
And we're racing once again. Gambler right behind, going wheel to wheel with UK, fighting for position on his first outing here in the BRL. Going into the next corner, will dive around the inside. There was collision between Harry Rocks 24 and UK. UK punted Harry Rocks 24, and he won't be glad about that. But Gambler clearly driving away in happiness.
UK will have to change his front wing as well as serve a drive-through penalty and lose a lot of time, and he's on the soft, so this is not doing him any favors.
And going to turn 1 and turn 2 parts of the track, Avi lost out on his start, being incredibly aggressive against Gauts. Avi going through driver after driver as he climbs up the pack. Sicknick seems to have lost a bit of time there and a position as well.
Interesting to see to RC18 and P5 doing so well, and look at Horning, Sarthak. Horning was quietly sneaking up in quali and in the race.
He's running P4 right now, and Seto RC18, like you mentioned, P5. This race is turning out to be one of mystery already. 3 laps just done, 25 laps to go, and at the back of the pack there's quite a bit of competition going around. Sicknick coming out the pits, only Kapi coming out the pits. 4 drivers in the pits and will come out. Few on the hards and 2 on the mediums.
I think Chris Bhai and UK will try for just one more pit stop in the race, and that makes sense. They have a lot of positions to gain. And I have received news, Sarthak, about the turn 1, let's say, sort of fiasco. It started when Wex kind of pushed RB Ferrello into the track wall, and that had a domino effect on everyone, and RB ended up losing the most.
And that happened in Sector 2 is prompting drivers to punt into each other, which is unfortunate. Might just prove to be a costly hairpin going into the latter half of the race itself. We're on board Gambler as we speak, who's got a really quick freeze on his tail.
Wex with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oof, things are not looking that good for Renault all of a sudden. Maybe
Don't
they
say
got a bit complacent.
Okay, you said complacent. I almost thought you said you were going to say commentator's curse, and now I'm glad. Anyway, moving on. Horning's up into P3. I'm pretty sure the drivers think that though.
Move on Harry Rocks. Less than a second away.
Avi's made quite the climb up the grid, and he is determined to go after his qualifying position, and around the outside he will try, and he should be able to nail this one. Has a bit of a lock up, front right, front left thereafter. Car number 94, folks. Keep an eye on that one.
Get back in position, but only just.
And Harry Rocks making sure he doesn't make it easy for Avi, and clearly Avi swerving around, and the gaps are increasing, and Avi will get that position. Rocket Man running P6, folks, and wheel to wheel they go. Avi and or Harry Rocks 24, and Avi will come out on top.
I think this is a very rare instance where between each car are actually kind of huge.
Yep. KDB just set the fastest lap time.
In fact.
Yeah. After quite some time, we're going to see this, and the rare kicks off of Rocket Man as well. As I jump from topic to topic, quicker than these cars are going through the straights. Accelerate goes around the outside of Setu RC18. A brilliant battle between these two drivers. Formidable ones, both race winners in the league, and Accelerate comes out on top.
It's a very good exit though, Sarthak. There is a chance to catch him on this.
Slipstream.
Slipstream, but it's all about outbraking.
Can Setu RC18 stay ahead? Yes, he will. Accelerate. The rain ain't falling, pal. So you gotta push even more harder. Wheel to wheel once again. Down the inside goes Accelerate. These two drivers don't seem to be too glad to give up position.
Setu RC18 has left the session, Sarthak, so that's very unfortunate.
It's the game, perhaps, and this is so disappointing to see. But Accelerate will be glad about it. He goes wide. He goes off track. If the game did one thing,
that was odd.
The game did one thing. Accelerate just perhaps missed out on an opportunity there. Unless Setu RC18 connects back, and then he possibly has to fight for position all over again. He's more than 1.5 seconds off. We have UK coming back, so that's great, but he's still running P16.
The Wex has climbed up to P12, but with the penalty in hand, he will have to cover a lot of ground.
And on board,
Avi is in shooting distance.
Yeah, and the closest drivers are out on track.
So is RB Ferrello.
Yeah, exactly. Ferrello on the tail of Vix356. Vix356, who's switched from controller to wheel only recently.
I do feel that Vix356 was very, very hasty with using the wheel for Bahrain, because he suffered a lot on that race, and it was something which could have been avoided, but at least he has a very aggressive experience now.
And Ferrello gets that move done, and Vix356 loses a position. Nonetheless, up the pack, however, Accelerates pulled off that move and has gone up the order. He's running P4. And the two Roadrunner Racing boys are P2 and P3 respectively. KDB, the driver to score the pole position, comfortably in the race lead.
Rocketman is holding his own, and that is really, really commendable.
Yep.
We are finally seeing the true form of Rocketman, which we could not get enough of last season. But now, with his attendance being a bit more regular, we have seen good things in the two races.
And staying on board Baby Shumi, who lost out after going wide in Sector 1 to Ferrello. Position lost out, I'm pretty sure. Haas team principal Nishal won't be too glad about this. He's got only copy running P20 and Baby Shumi running P13. Baby Shumi can bring home a point or two. We'll see beyond 20 laps of this race. But Rocketman on the medium tires, Ruds, amongst the soft runners.
Yep, and VPA is on the medium tires as well, and he's in the points now. But Wex is right there. He overtakes Avi Ferrello, but does he complete the move? Yes, he does.
But not for long,
Wex on a charge, and he's on hard, Sarthak. Let's not forget that.
He's in between the two.
With a 3-second penalty.
He's in between the two Alpha Tauris. Pretty sure a lot of communication going through from Rusty Nish, and Mr. Wex just disappeared off my screen for some reason and lost a position.
For me, but I think, yep, he lost the position.
Seto RC18 is back, so I'm glad about that because he would have lost out on another position, perhaps to Avi as well. But right now he's running P5.
Yep. And Horning was just 5 seconds off Big Man Joe, but now he is 7 seconds off. So I think this will be how Hanoi is going to go on.
Yeah, Sector 2 goes yellow, and I wonder why. Maybe just for a brief moment.
It was a fight between the Mercedes and the Williams, sort of.
And let's stay on board Baby Shumi because he's got Vic C56 behind him once again, just like he did in Australia.
The intervals seem to be glitching out for me again, and cannot do too much about it, but the fight between VPA and Wex is heating up. Wex trying to make the move stick, but VPA not letting go that easily.
Goes to show AlphaTauri did a good job at picking this driver to be their man out on track in replacement for Rusty Nish. But Vex should have slipstream and everything he needs to pull off a move down the inside of VPA perhaps. Couldn't quite get it, but VPA
wide, and Wex benefits from it. Oh my god, Sarthak, I think we're going to be having a very tasty treat. Look at Rocketman and 3 cars behind him on the map. They are right behind each other, and I think we're going to see a DRS straight soon.
Perhaps as Avi on the tail of Setu RC18 and down the inside of Setu RC18 he goes wheel to wheel through Sector 2 and into the hairpin. Setu RC18 holds his position, goes wide, and Avi will get that position that he was waiting for. P5. What a climb he's made so far.
Freeze keeping Harry Rocks honest and also staying in the points. So yeah, I think Mercedes can maybe have a good race as a collective unit this time. Horning is pretty comfortable in P3, but he's not doing enough to challenge for P2 either.
A lot of penalties coming up. I just saw Gambler and Sicknick get slapped with penalties. Vex penalties since a while now. But UK up into P14.
Yep, all of them have the 3-second penalties. Gambler and Signing both have 3 seconds for multiple warnings. And Mr. Wex has a 5-second penalty from before when he was speeding in the pit lane.
Freeze goes into the pit.
Yep, read my mind. That's the general theme of today from you.
It seems like Vic C56 at the back of the pack lost 2 positions in a matter of 2 corners. Unfortunate for him, but I just wonder if he let them through almost. considering it may not be his fight. But then again, Chris Bai at the back of the pack fighting with KDB's teammate. He fought with KDB in the front last race, and this time around he's going up against his teammate at the back.
Yeah, the lap 1 incident really did Chris Bai dirty, and he's been struggling to get back. It's not late at all. He still has 20 laps to catch up, and he's only hard. So I expect him to pull these for maybe 15 laps and then go on the softs. But yeah, right now it's damage control, just like UK. But UK is doing somewhat better.
Well, then again, he'll be just glad that Setu RC18 is having a good race up in P6. Disappointment out of qualifying for sure, and pretty mad to say the least with the whole pit lane incident, which he keeps getting caught off guard by in more than one occasion. But then again, Avi and Accelerate going into the pits, coming out on the mediums.
We are seeing the drivers pit exactly as per the pit stop strategy that we saw. Oh, was that UK just funding Baby Shumi? I think it was. Oh, Baby Shumi. I think he's lost 4 positions.
And there's an AlphaTauri who gone completely off track, gone straight into the pits. Gouts on the soft tires and High Rocks as well. And Setu RC18, these are the only 3 drivers out on track on softs. Everyone else has switched to the mediums and the hards.
And Harry Rocks are yet to pit, but Gautam has already pit at lap 2, so he'll be continuing on.
Yeah, brilliant battle for P3 between Setu RC18 and Horning, and Horning gets that P3 position. Around the hairpin they go, hairpin of sorts at least, and Setu RC18 gets his rear out of place and will lose time as well.
Surprised by the level of competitiveness Hanoi is offering, you know. There is a lot of gap, but whenever the cars are right next to each other, the battling is way too intense. I mean, it is like Singapore and Spa mixed together. I think that's the best way to describe Hanoi, maybe. But not as interesting as either of those tracks.
And as you mentioned, the street circuits, we've got Accelerate trying to make a move on High Rocks 24. Okay, my bad once again. As 2 drivers come into the pits, it is High Rocks 24 and Setu RC18.
This is the crucial moments, Sarthak, where the tires these guys use for the first pit dictates the pit stop strategy. So far from what I see, since everybody's going on the mediums, we will see one more pit stop happening somewhere around lap 22 perhaps.
That is likely, but then again, a safety car might just throw things into a spiral at least. But let's hope not. KDB still leading the race.
I'm just glad that there have been no DNF so far, and I wouldn't wish for that. Accelerate is right behind Rocketman on that long straight. Will he be able to overtake?
Rocketman doing his best to fend off Accelerate. Running up this high, Rocketman. I'm so glad to see him up there. I'm pretty sure Big Man Joe's smiling about it too, as he might just try to peek down the inside. Accelerate put off place just a bit.
Reese is also very close to making a move on UK, but ooh, Rocketman with some spicy dive. And unfortunately, it didn't work out.
He loses a bit of his end plate there. Yep, he's running with no end plates.
Trying to attack Accelerate. So, oh,
Rocketman just
look at that, Sarthak.
Rocketman just missed out. Yeah, go ahead, Druds.
He did. I think he was too impatient.
Yeah.
Rocketman. Maybe he thought he could pull it off, but then Accelerate is the kind of driver who does not give way that easily, because he has a lot of confidence in his abilities, and that showed there. He maintained his composure.
Yeah.
And Avi capitalized, and I think we might see Avi overtaking Accelerate very soon. maybe in the next corner as they begin the straight.
Let's stay on, Avi. And look at that gap between Accelerate and Horning, over 11 seconds.
And all of them have pit, so this time is not changing very soon.
Surprisingly enough, Avi is half a second off of Accelerate. Might not just come close to making a move anytime soon, at least. Or perhaps he's picking up the pace. Slipstream attained, and down the around the outside, he just might peak. Switcheroo if Accelerate.
For the switch back. He gets a really good exit.
And should be able to get it done.
So fast, maybe Accelerate tries a rocket man move. Oh, but it didn't work out. Avi gets his position. For now.
And the man who was at the back of the pack, somewhere around P16, P17, after turn 1 and turn 2 in lap number 1, is right now running P4.
Show how much pace Avi has possessed, and he did show it in Bahrain. Do feel that the Renault really suits him well from what I have seen so far, and yeah, I think we can expect a lot from Avi going forward.
Well,
not a curse, a genuine compliment before the people in the chat think that, oh, the commentators found a new Bakra, but no.
But well, now he's got quite the task at hand. A 12-second gap to close in, which is almost a 13-second gap. Do you think he can do it, Ruds? How close do you think he might come at the last laps of the race?
16 laps, Sarthak. So that would be almost 1 second a lap to cover and overtake Horning, which I doubt is possible, especially a street circuit where you can't be pushing a lot. And he has Accelerate as well to fend off, you know. Accelerate is not letting go anytime soon.
Yeah, and
just look at the attack Accelerate's making on the inside.
And at the same track, Avi got his position off of Accelerate. Accelerate takes it right back. But this time around, Avi will try and fend him off, or at least challenge for position once again. And Accelerate didn't get quite the greatest of exits, but he manages to hold on to that position.
Yeah, the sector 3 is really narrow in order to get any sort of overtaking done. But oh, I think we have a Mercedes slowing down there. Is it Freeze?
Yes, it is. I think there was a bit of contact between UK and Freeze there.
Oh no, it was Horning, I think. Yes, Horning has lost 7 seconds to Big Man Joe. Look at the gap now. Accelerate is just 7 seconds behind Horning.
Yeah.
Horning, I think, had a spin out maybe.
In that case, both the Mercedes had a minor incident at the same time.
This is not the Mercedes we have watched over the year, you know.
Because it
feels unnatural.
Yeah, and if you notice, Freeze goes into the pits as well, so he's got damage. And so does Horning. Horning's lost part of his front wing, so he'll be pitting soon enough, I'm sure.
Yup, things are not looking pretty for Mercedes, and Bahrain was actually the real outlook of that, but I thought things would improve come Vietnam, but it sadly hasn't.
And Accelerate and Avi stay within half a second of each other once again. On another lap, 14 laps. This is our halfway of the Vietnamese GP. KDB is still with the race lead. 9 seconds behind him is Big Man Joe. Horning behind them as well, but Horning will pit soon enough.
You have noticed, Sarthak, but out of the top 5, we have 4 different engine manufacturers with 2 Mercedes in the top 5.
Yeah.
So all the engines are like on full swing right now.
Yeah. And Horning makes that pit stop we were talking about, and I wonder where he'll come out.
That means that the top 4 all have different engines. So thanks to the pit stop, my fact is now even better.
Mr. Wex making that climb just as much as Avi did. He's up in P8. He's got UK to worry about right behind him.
Has a very impressive climb. He climbed 12 positions in 14 laps.
That was a real, and as commendable as that is, that was a real close incident right at the exits of the pits, because
I did see that, sir. Yes.
Horning and Vex almost came together. That was real close.
I saw it from UK's POV and I actually expected contact, but thankfully nothing happened.
Yeah. Nonetheless, Horning running P7, so Freeze running P16. Not a great day, but I guess they can be glad that Horning's still running in the points, as UK fancies a move on Mr. Wex around the outside this time around, as he tries to come closer to his teammate who's running P6, Setu RC18.
We have seen so much overtaking right at the end of sector.
I hope you didn't get cut off, because Accelerate and Avi are close once again, and Avi will try down the inside once again. Yes, Ruds has cut off, but the Red Bull and the Renault are going toe to toe more often than expected at this track. At the back of the pack, however, Gouts and VPA battling it off. Wheel to wheel once again, Avi and Accelerate. And Avi gets the better this time. And on the inside he tries, round the outside. These two are not gonna stop anytime soon. I'm pretty sure it's a treat to watch, because I'm enjoying this one and I'm sure they're enjoying it themselves. Going toe to toe with each other, trying to find a gap he can squeeze into. Accelerate will find it, and around the outside he should be able to get it done, unless he has a nasty exit, and it's last lap all over again. It's been 2 laps now that these two drivers have been going toe to toe with each other. Sector 3 goes yellow. I wonder if it's a slow moving car. Let's move to the back of the pack, as Sicknig is within half a second of Only Kapi. He should be able to pull off the move at the same part of the track that Avi and Accelerate kept going wheel to wheel at. And yes, Only Kapi just might not stand a chance here. Not a great day for the driver in the Haas, and has a nasty exit there. Sicknig, and Only Kapi runs away with the position he was holding in the first place. Try Sicknig having a difficult time. Let's jump to Hyrox. Hey Ruds, you back?
My Steam decided to just give up on me and logged out on its own. Just kicked out from the game.
Yep. Tends to happen, and I'm pretty sure you won't be surprised by this, but from the moment you left to the moment you're here, back once again, Avi and Accelerate have been going wheel to wheel, switching positions to and fro, and it ends up being the same part of the track always, which they're coming along once again. Avi down the inside this time around of Accelerate, locks up the front 2 tires. Accelerate, if he does get a good exit, should be able to get his position back. Let's stay on board KDB for a while. The race leader, comfortable, 17 laps so far, and he's stuck onto the race lead. 14 seconds the gap between him and Big Man Joe, and over 22 seconds between Big Man Joe and Avi. So he's got barely a driver to worry about, with a bunch of laps to go in this race. Gouts at the back of the pack making moves, however, on Baby Shumi.
Looks like Avi got a 3-second penalty while I was away. PA with 8 seconds worth of penalties. Oof, he's not having a great race, is he?
And support coming through in the chat for Gouts. And as we stay on board him, he's in P17. And Mr. Wex, after a pit stop, fallen down to P16.
Nick with a 5-second penalty, Sarthak, for speeding in the pit lane. This penalty is going to be the number one enemy of all the drivers in BRL.
Yeah, at least this season for sure. And then again, the first half of the season only perhaps. Hopefully the latter half of the season we can expect many things, from driver improvements to a cleaner racing, at least cleaner entry into the pits. In the chat, Rusty Nish and SV11 commending Accelerate and Avi for the incredible battle. And I don't think we'll get to see that anytime soon, because seems like they're a second off of each other. But then again, as we stay on board, Hyrox24 right behind Rocketman.
This buy is at P11, I just noticed, so that's good. At least, making some gains. Gambler as well, but they're on the same compound of tires with the same old age of 14 laps.
Yeah, and RB Ferrero pits for softs.
That is very curious. I don't think the softs will last for 11 laps because we had all the cars pitting at lap number 9. Do you think we'll see another Freeze and Avi situation happening today?
Perhaps, but both Freeze and Avi did the long stints that they did on mediums, and this is the softs. Meanwhile, Chris By on the Hyrox24 on the tail of Rocketman. The Williams making moves today is Hyrox24. But then again, back to your question, Ruds. Will they do long stints just like Avi and Freeze? And there's a Williams which has spun, and it is Chris By. It's clearly not his day as he parks in sector 2, trying to straighten his car and will perhaps go back into the pits. He's lost half his front wing once again. A red front wing, I'm sure. Unfortunate race for the driver who was on the podium in the last 2 races.
I think Chris By would like to just end this race as soon as possible and forget about it. Move on to the next round.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how he's feeling right now. On the bright side,
he's been really unlucky, to be honest.
On the bright side, however, Hyrox24 is closing in on Rocketman.
We will definitely see at least one Williams in the points, so silver lining, I suppose. But I'm really happy to see the McLarens at P6 and P7. Although some of them have to pit one more time. Actually, everybody has to pit one more time in the front, so we are good for now.
And only Kapi and Chris By go into the pits. I'm guessing they'll come out on the softs. 8 laps left for the race. Huge gaps in the podium positions itself. 15-second gap between KDB and Big Man Joe. And Big Man Joe and Avi have a gap of 23 seconds. Could that penalty for Avi cost him the podium position, Roots?
I might not be sure, but it does look like it's gonna happen. I feel that Accelerate will try to capitalize on the penalty because all the drivers can see the penalties around them, and all Accelerate has to do is stay within 3 seconds of Avi.
let's jump to the driver closest to another competitor, and it is Gouts to only Kapi. And we've got Thor in the chat showing his support to the McLaren boys running P6 and P8. Ferrello split them apart. Gouts goes wheel to wheel with only Kapi. Should have position right about now, both on softs, but only Kapi with fresher sets of softs. He seems to be having all sorts of issues as Gouts gets another position. He's up into P14.
That was a beautiful switch back from Gouts.
And we've got Gouts' friends in the chat showing him all the support he needs regardless of the position he is running in, and that's great to see. 9-lap old softs, and Gouts is running ahead of 3 drivers on fresher softs.
He will have to pit very soon, and I expect him to fall back maybe to P17, but that is good. Oh, Avi with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Accelerate can most probably guarantee his P3, to be honest.
And considering accelerates on medium tires, he stays out, climbs into the P3 position, podium position, right alongside Big Man Joe and KDB. Perhaps 7 laps to go. Anything's possible, folks. So let's not settle the podium already. But Horning will get that jump on Avi as well. So Horning, regardless of that incident, is still running P4 right up there in the top 5.
Ferrello setting the fastest laps, Arthur.
For sure, Rusty Nish will be pleased with that.
We have our first blue markers in the way with KDB overtaking Wicks and now behind Chris Bhai. Over to Gods. So KDB is making his way through the pack. Look at the domination, Arthur. He's 16 seconds ahead of Big Man Joe.
And that's
16 seconds.
I mean, he is known to be the king of the streets, as I like to call him, and I mentioned this earlier on, right before the race as well. He did an amazing job in the street circuit back in Azerbaijan last season. He did the same in Canada, and this time around, after quite some time, after quite a few races, he possibly is looking at a race win. 6 laps to go, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
He will be just the second in VRL in 3 rounds. And finally breaking that chain of General Pepe, which I expected to continue, you know, if he had participated today.
Yeah. And let's jump to Avi, who's racked up quite a bit of penalties, but still fighting for position, of course. He's got Horning right in his visor. Should be able to pull off a move here on the outside. Turn 1, surprising enough, hasn't seen overtakes being fully executed.
Straight is too short to get the full advantage of the slipstream, but the straight after that and the one after that, those are the 2 best opportunities for overtaking.
You might see a close battle going into the last couple of laps between these 3 drivers, Horning, Ferrello and UK. My bad, Avi, Horning and Ferrello. But UK could quite... Okay, no, UK is going to finish on the hard tires, I presume.
I don't think that the hards are going to last for another 7. Oof, Sarthak, we have missed a huge bit of detail. I would like you to just focus on Baby Shumi's tire and the age of that tire.
My word, I can't believe we missed this. He's running on 20 lap old mediums and he's going straight in the pits. Of course, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Another driver caught off guard by that one.
Ooh. Yeah, that penalty is a bummer, and I do feel that drivers will be better without that assist. So there'll be some time to adjust to it.
Meanwhile, Ferrello.
RB Ferrello looks to be overtaking Horning. Yes, Sarthak. See, you read my mind. I told you the general theme.
Oh, Horning tried to swerve, and it kind of just opened up an opportunity for Ferrello. Weird move there by Horning.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I thought it was a glitch at first, but then I realized that Horning might actually have moved out.
Maybe did he move out, or maybe he predicted Ferrello wrong, because he might have thought Ferrello might just be on his inside.
Yep, I think Ferrello sold him a dummy, and it worked.
He's on the soft, so we could possibly see him close that gap to Avi. Sector 3 goes yellow, and I wonder what's happening there. Seems like there is a car.
Ferrari. That is Wix.
Has he lost a bit of his front wing?
Almost stationary at the finish line.
Yep, he's lost part of his front wing.
Yep, very understeery. Oof, he's completely lost his left front wing.
Fortunate for him, but Gamebler on the main straight, making a move on the Haas driver. I'm so sorry, Ruds, but Gamebler pulling off a brilliant dive down the inside of only Kapi. Oh, goes off track, however. Unfortunate for him, but will get that position. And I'm pretty sure Accelerate will have a smile on his face, because while SV will have a smile on his face, because Accelerate's up into the podium position, and Gamebler making up at the back of the pack.
I think that Accelerate is gonna go on until the end without for a pit stop. So as things stand, I don't think the first 6 positions. Oh, you know what? I don't think any of the positions will change other than maybe P10 and P15, to be honest. The field is so widespread. Even if you take a look at the track map, Sarthak, you can see that each car has like a very, very respectable distance amongst them.
Yep. It's incredible to watch, and right about now only Kapi, Gamebler are the only 2 drivers close enough to actually see possibly a wheel-to-wheel battle going to the next couple of races. Safety car, Vix 356 has retired from the session, and he has retired in sector 2.
Yep, he has crashed into a wall. We'll be able to see it from the racing point of Sicknick.
Yeah, staying on board Sicknick right about now. We should be able to see Vix 356.
It has been cleared, sadly.
Fortunate. But Vix 356, not his day.
Him on the left side of the wall.
Does this throw things into all kinds of possibilities? Because with the safety car out, I just wonder. 3 laps to go, Ruds.
Remember, Sarthak, I just spoke about how the field is way too spread out and nothing will happen. And then this happened. So the field is going to be so close to each other now. Gods has a drive-through penalty.
VPA racks up a 3-second penalty for himself.
You know what?
Go ahead.
A drive-through penalty in the safety car period is the best thing Gods can get. Rather than having it during the race.
I saw him slowing incredibly in sector 1. I wonder what's wrong with Gods. But then again, Horning dives into the pits, and I'll be curious to see what the front runners do.
Accelerate is also in the pits, but he comes out ahead of RB Ferrello, thankfully. I think may be able to confirm the podium for Accelerate, because Avi has a bunch of penalties. 8 seconds to be precise. Oh, if RB Ferrello and Accelerate both get into enough range, we might see Avi drop down to P5 actually.
Goes to show how much of a clean race can affect your race result itself. So keeping it clean needs to be priority. Almost seems like there's a race going on between Ferrello and Sicknick, but nothing to worry about there. Sicknick's the driver who's running at the back of the pack in P17, while Ferrello is running up in P5.
Do you expect an explosive start and a final lap to the race now, Sarthak, or do you think it's going to be mellow?
I let's just say the front runners is what I'm keen to see, who I'm keen to see. Because if you notice in my voice itself, we've got KDB, we got Big Man Joe, and we got Avi, Accelerate, and Ferrello in the front. Horning's right up there. UK is there too. So just the top 10, in fact, is going to be interesting to see how they're going to do in the last couple of laps. But UK just got slapped with a 5-second penalty. Sicknick gets a drive-through penalty. Safety car costing a lot of people a lot of things.
Big Man Joe is stuck behind Chris Bhai in the safety car while KDB is at the front of the pack. Adversely.
Rocket Man gets a 5-second penalty.
Rocket Man and VP have had a very bad collision.
Yep, the drivers will try and heat up their tires for the penultimate and final laps of this race. And the safety car should come in.
We still have 2 more laps to go. I think the safety lap will come in on lap 27. And we'll have 1 lap of racing, Sarthak. I think that's how it's going to be.
Okay. 1 incredible lap of racing. Did Freeze get slapped with a penalty of sorts? Because he's coming out the pits. No, he's coming out of the pits with fresh softs. Gambler gets a 5-second penalty after severe collision with Avi.
I was on Avi's POV and I actually thought that Avi went into Gambler, but I think that Gambler might have brake checked Avi. So we have confusion, but Avi hitting Gots now. I don't know what's happening.
I think...
And Gots gets a penalty.
And I think the safety car has gone in.
Okay.
I think the safety car has gone in, so we should begin racing on the 27th lap. So the penultimate and the final laps will be full race laps perhaps. And yes, we go racing at Vietnam once again. And Big Man Joe right behind KDB. Are we right up there? Accelerate, Ferrello. Which driver will come out on top? Which driver will be able to pull off this move and capitalize on the safety car? Not looking too great, but Rocket Man losing...
Accelerate right behind Avi.
Rocket Man losing positions. Incredibly unfortunate for him.
Sector 1 straight start. Look at that. All the cars are right there. And at the hairpin, we'll see everyone turning.
Yep, and let's stay on board Gouts because Sector 2 goes yellow. He's made a move on a couple of drivers. High Rocks 24 is seen parked, ghosted out on track, and he will lose quite a bit of positions as Sicknig tries to fend off. Oh no, it was a front running Ferrello. I almost thought he was fighting off back marker just like him. But regardless, Accelerate holding on to that position. Seems like the front runners haven't switched positions as such. The Red Bull going through ghosted cars. Accelerate, and looks like Gambler's parked on track at the same part of the track which we were on.
You notice Freeze is driving alone Sarthak in Sector 1 and there's nobody around him and he's comfortably in P10 with no difference in sight.
KDB still in the race lead and a front lockup which shouldn't make much of a difference for him. Starts the final lap. Yeah. Big Man Joe right behind. Avi will be trying to pick up the pace, but can he do enough to hold on to that podium position? Clearly not.
I don't think that's going to happen, Sarthak, because 8 seconds is a lot. Oh, and I just realized that Avi will drop down to P5, maybe even P6 if Horning makes up some ground.
Meanwhile, at the back of the pack,
Shumi dives into the pit lane again. This is his second pit in 2 laps.
Yeah, and let's stay on board Gouts because he's making quite the climb. He's in P13 right now, and I'm curious to see where he'll finish at the end of this race because he just might be able to pick up a position. Just one position at least on Rocket Man.
I think we might be seeing a Grand Slam Sarthak today. KDB qualified on pole, has led every lap, and if I am right, I think he has the fastest lap as well. Does he? Yes, he does. So we'll have a Grand Slam, first Grand Slam in BRL, I think.
He's going through sector 3, but I'm still on board Gouts because Rocketman is swerving. He's trying to keep it on track. He's trying to keep his car on track. Somehow it seems like he's having issues, but let's say on KDB, he's done it once, he's done it twice, both on street circuits, and for the third time in the Bwoah Racing League, KDB crosses the finish line as a race winner, and right behind him, Big Man Joe on the podium once again. And Accelerate should come across the finish line to grab that P3, Ferrello P4. Let's jump quickly to Gouts, who serving his drive-through penalty, I'm assuming.
Yep, and he finishes the race with a drive-through. That was sensible from him, you know.
But regardless, it almost seemed like he could have gotten that jump on Rocketman. But Rocketman himself finishes at the back in P17. Incredible. Unfortunate for the Renault drivers who finished P6 and P9 respectively. Had a nasty start. Lap 1 wasn't theirs. But the two McLaren drivers putting it in the points, getting a good points haul. I think, like I mentioned earlier on, they proved me wrong, and your prediction came through, Ruj. The McLaren drivers benefited the most.
I'm happy because I was very, very skeptical after seeing UK's P20, and maybe my prediction would be wrong. But
and speaking
luckily,
about,
look, talk about the devil.
UK is the driver of the day, and a commendable one. Side P20, unfortunate for him starting P20 for the second time this season with just 3 races done already. But KDB, it's all smiles. He's a 3-time race winner, alongside Big Man Joe, who's on the podium as well, and Accelerate on the podium for the first time this season. Nice to see the old guard. Can we say the old guard from last season? The drivers who were in the championship fight last season are on the podium today.
We sure can. And that Grand Slam is something special. KDB does end up getting the fastest lap.
Brilliant.
So that's the pole, winning every lap, winning the race, and the fastest lap.
Yeah. And he led most of the race as well. Accelerate coming in P3, Ferrello P4, good result for AlphaTauri. Horning, Avi right behind. UK, Setu RC18, Wex P9, Freeze P10. Chris Bay after an unfortunate race, one to forget perhaps, in P11, and so on. Rocketman, it seemed like it was his day, but clearly not in P18. Big C56 getting into grips with his wheel, ended up DNFing. Didn't finish the race itself, but nonetheless, clearly the Vietnam GP turned out to be something we didn't expect to be. Clearly, can we say that, Ruds? Can we say that it clearly went completely left field compared to what we expected?
It was definitely better than my expectations, to be honest.
Brilliant stuff.
And I don't know if I would enjoy the real race that much, but in game, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And kudos to all the drivers, all 20 of them, including with C56, who was the only driver to retire, and 19 of them made it across the finish line. Brilliant. And we'll have a weekend off going into the next weekend. We will have a feature event which we'll let you know about on Instagram. Make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram for more updates. And for the 9 of y'all who stayed till the very end, thank you so much. It's me, Sarthak, and Ruds signing off. Let's see you, catch you on the next one, Ruds.
Sure will.